Hey everyone, I'm going to talk a little bit about setting up a new course for the purpose of credit recovery. Before I start clicking around here, a couple things to know and to understand. Number one, you need to make a decision about how you want to organize this. You can set up one course and put all of your students into that course and then individually assign the materials that they need to get up to passing or whatever. But you can also, go ahead and set up separate courses and organize your students into those separate courses based off of the content, the subject area, whatever. So that's really up to you. That's a personal preference thing, and it just is going to be whatever you think is going to make the most sense for you, going to be the easiest for you, and so on. The other thing to know and to understand is that these classes are not going to be tied to Skyward. And that I'm doing that for a number of reasons. Number one, so that we can assign a different grading period, which is going to, help us avoid some other issues with the classes being available. Number two, it's really better for you as a teacher because it gives you a lot more control over the class to take kids in and out as needed. And then the other thing is for student services in terms of just setting things up in Skyward for them and everything, it's going to just work a lot better. So what that means for you is mostly that you're going to have to add your students, which is not hard. I'm going to show you how to do that. The other thing is that once the kid reaches passing, then you're going to have to go manually into Skyward into the courses that guidance sets up for you there and put a passing grade into Skyward. So if you have any questions about any of that, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I will be happy to walk you through that side of things as well. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Like a lot of other things, we get rolling by clicking on courses up in your menu up here and then clicking My Courses. And then once we're there, you'll see the courses that you already currently have. Probably most of them or all of them have come over from Skyward, but we're going to create our own. You can see that's over here on the right-hand side. And once you're in here, a lot of this information doesn't matter too much, but there are some key things. Number one, you want to make sure, and I'm guessing by default, yours will be Richland County High School, but if it's not, check that and make sure that you have that selected. Then you're going to want to name your course. And one of the things that it will try to do is it will try to guess what you're putting in there, and then sometimes it will, assign a name that you don't want. So just make sure that you're careful. When those options come up, just click out to the side, and then hopefully the name you put in will stay there, but keep an eye on that. Don't really need course code, doesn't have an asterisk next to it. It puts in section 1. You can probably just leave that. You have to choose a subject area, and then you have to choose a level. So, you can do a range if you want, or you can really choose just about anything, but you have to have something in there. The other big thing is the grading period. Again, to make sure that we don't lose availability to it, that you can keep it in there as long as necessary and all those things, you're going to want to make sure, and it's in a small window, so you're going to have to scroll down quite a ways to get there, but eventually you're going to find high school credit recovery. Very important that you choose that box. So once you've done that and you've got these other things taken care of, click create. If you happen to miss anything, it'll let you know. So now your class has been created. You can put your picture in and all those kinds of things. One of the things that you'll have to do with this, though, that you don't normally have to do is you're going to have to add your students. All right. So to do that, you go to members, and then you'll see initially you will be the only member in your class. So you click on the gray add members button up here at the top. And then again, make sure, by default, it should be set to the high school, but you just want to make sure you're in the right school. And then you can start searching for people to add to your class. And you can, so you're not having to continuously click on someone. And when you click on them, obviously, you want to search for them, and then you click on them. It'll highlight it in green, give you a checkbox. You don't have to hit add members and then open it back up again. You can continue to go through and search for people, and it won't forget who you've already chosen. So once you've added all the people, and you can see up here, here's the total amount of people I've selected. I'm going to go ahead and click add members. and it will add them to the class. If you happen to be sharing this class with another teacher, if you may have done something like this before when you were trying to link classes together. If you're just setting up one course for you and another teacher in your department to share, then you locate that individual and then you click make them admin, and then it'll do that. That little badge may not show up next to their name immediately, but it will, the next time you refresh the page. So once you've got folks added into your class here, one of the other things that you might want to consider doing, especially if you've got kids from multiple different subject areas that are going to be in this class, or even if not, if you've got kids that are just in totally different ranges. So you might have a kid that just didn't get anywhere close to passing. You got another kid that's just, basically right there. So you might want to set grading groups up based on those things. So if you haven't done that before, there's a little gray dotted rectangular box over here. And so if you click on that, it's going to allow you to choose who you'd like to be in the group, and then you can name that group whatever you want. Just be aware that students, I believe, can see the name of this group, so you don't want to name it, anything that you wouldn't want them to see. Okay. So you can do a color or, whatever, level 1 group or red group. Or if you want to do the subject area that they happen to be in, U.S. history, as opposed to a kid that might be in civics or whatever, and I can create that group. So what that allows me to do now is when I post materials, I want to post an assignment or whatever the case may be. If I go down here next to options, these 3 dots, I can individually assign. And now instead of typing in all the kids' names that I want to assign it to, I can assign it to the U.S. history group, and it will automatically assign it to the students that are in that group. And you can do that with links and assessments and everything else. So those are the key things that you really need to know to get you going. If you've got any more questions about any of those things, or if you'd like to, you can obviously go back and rewatch this video, but I've also included a walkthrough step-by-step thing. You might find some of the other tutorials that I put together helpful as well. But as always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And again, if you decide you want to put your students into multiple sections, they would have to go through this process again, however many times that you decide to do that. So that's it for now. Like I said, any questions, don't hesitate to let me know, and I'll talk to you guys soon.